myelin acts like insulation. It makes the signal fire faster, stronger, and with more accuracy and less interference. More myelin, more effective and more reliable firing. That's the physical reality of a habit. It's a highly myelinated neural highway built through repetition, intensity, duration, and sometimes all three. Anyone who's worked on muscle memory engaged with this process whether you knew it or not. The aha moment is that it works the same with cognitive processing because it's not muscle memory, it's nervous system memory. This fact is elusive because people tend to think of the subconscious as a mind instead of what it actually is, a network of neurons. Since they think of it like a mind, the expectation is that if they know something, the correct behavior should follow. That may be true of the conscious mind, but it's not so for the network of neurons. The problem leaders face in high-speed, high-pressure environments is that most of their default pathways were formed early in life, like everyone, largely between the ages of 0 and 7, when their environment was completely different. Today, when they step into high-pressure business environments, these old survival-based threat tracks can still dominate the stimulus-reaction response cycles. When a leader reacts defensively, overthinks, or freezes, they aren't experiencing a failure of confidence or motivation. They're simply dropping into a well-worn, deeply myelinated neural groove. Of course, with experience, we become more resourceful and find ways to mitigate those risks. But you can see how artificial intelligence being used to get more information and more confusing information to you faster is not helping. It's actually adding more threats in the form of stacking unknowns. This results in having to make more assumptions for a given plan. And that's a problem because the unknown is treated as a threat by the subconscious. This is where applied neuroplasticity becomes our greatest asset. Pathways can change, but they do not change through a single intellectual insight or by reading a book. They change through structured repetition, conditioning, and intensity, also known as deep practice. You don't break an old habit, you replace it by making a new, predetermined path the one of least resistance. When you deliberately introduce a new, resourceful response and develop it with deep practice, your central nervous system executes a process called synaptogenesis. Think of it like pruning away synapses from old, dormant pathways. When they're no longer the path of least resistance, the old habit pattern no longer fires first. And in the 1-second model, it's not what impulse is strongest, it's which one fires first. As you condition the new stimulus reaction cycle, it becomes more effective and more efficient until it eventually becomes the new natural path of least resistance. Applied neuroplasticity is simply the skill of taking the wheel of this automated system. It allows you to stop letting an aggressive, fast-paced environment write the tracks for you. Instead, use your moments of clarity to engineer the defaults you want to rely on when the pressure hits. For those of you who feel like you have tried this and think it doesn't work, I will say it's likely because you're working at the conscious mind level. These pathways are firing a full half second before the conscious mind is aware. In that time, your nervous system can process millions of bits of information. The solution is to condition the desired change early in the stimulus reaction cycle in the same automaticity system. That's why I talk about the 600 millisecond window, and that's why I talk so much about the 1-second model. That's where the change happens. There is a link with this post to a video that goes more in depth.